Harold Hank Braddock was always a numbers guy. Ever since he was a kid, he found comfort in math. Numbers just made sense. They lined up, they told the truth, and they never changed on you. In his little seaside town, everyone trusted Hank. He was the go-to accountant, the guy with the steady job, the cozy house, the old reliable sedan, and a family that actually liked being around him. Neighbors would wave when he mowed the lawn, and clients dropped off homemade pies during tax season. From the outside, Hank's life looked pretty perfect. But here's the thing. People thought Hank had it all. Deep down, though, he kept hearing this little voice. You deserve more. And every year, as he watched other folks get ahead, buy new cars, take fancy trips, that voice just got louder. It started small, barely even noticeable. A few bucks here, a tiny risk there, just enough to feel a little rush, to imagine what life could be like if things were different. One day, Hank found this old savings account, barely earning any interest. He thought, why not move the money? Make it work a little harder. He convinced himself it was the smart thing to do. So he started dabbling in risky stocks. And when he won, man, it was a rush. Watching those numbers jump on the screen made him feel alive, like he'd finally found a shortcut to happiness. That little thrill turned into a full-blown obsession. Every night, the glow of his computer screen pulled him in, promising more if he just pushed a little further. One evening, he brought it up to Mia, his wife. He started talking about early retirement, Caribbean cruises, painting this picture of a life where they'd never have to worry again. She smiled and said, let's be careful. Her voice was soft, but Hank could see the worry in her eyes. But Hank, he was already past careful. He was hooked, chasing the next big win, convinced he could beat the odds. Soon, those little risks weren't enough. He needed bigger stakes, bigger rewards. He started to think he couldn't lose. That luck was always on his side. So, he borrowed against their house. Just for one big move, he told himself. It was only temporary. He'd pay it back before anyone even noticed. Then he dipped into Lily's college fund, convinced he could double it. The guilt was there, but the hope of a big win drowned it out. Every night while his daughter slept, Hank sat in front of those glowing screens, crunching numbers by moonlight. The world outside faded away. He was lost in charts and dreams. Family dinners got quieter. The warmth in their home started to disappear, replaced by a coldness Hank couldn't quite explain. The laughter, the stories, the inside jokes, they all faded. Hank forgot anniversaries, missed school plays. He was there, but not really there. He started snapping at Mia over little things. Every conversation felt like walking on eggshells. Every question felt like a threat to his plans. The guy who used to love the simple stuff now measured happiness in decimal points. It couldn't last. The pressure kept building and it felt like the walls were closing in. Then, the market crashed. Just like that, years of saving, and all those risky bets, were gone in a week. The profits disappeared, replaced by red numbers and a mountain of debt. Hank's heart raced as he watched everything slip through his fingers. The house, their safe place, became a burden. Letters from the bank started piling up. The fear of losing everything hung over every meal, every sleepless night. One night, Lily's little voice broke the silence. Daddy, why is Mommy crying? Hank had no answer. That look in her eyes hurt more than any loss on a spreadsheet. He just sat there, staring at empty screens and overdue bills, feeling the weight of every bad choice. The silence was crushing. The regret? Even worse. In chasing more, Hank had gambled away everything that really mattered. It hit him hard. He'd traded laughter for ledgers, love for losses. They sold the house and squeezed into a tiny apartment. The rooms were cramped, the walls were thin, but it was all they could afford. Hank found a job at a small firm, making less than before. The fancy title was gone, replaced by humility and a quiet promise to start over. Mia went back to school. Her dreams had been put on hold, but she studied late into the night, determined to build something new for their family. Lily would press her face to the crack window and whisper, I miss our backyard. Her words were soft, but they echoed in Hank's heart. Hank would hug her tight, his arms saying sorry for all the things he couldn't fix. He wished he could go back, undo it all, and give her the world. One afternoon, while sorting through an old box, Hank found a single gold coin from his childhood. It reminded him of simpler times, when happiness wasn't about money. He showed it to Lily. Let's start over, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. One happy day at a time. Life slowed down. They found joy in little things. A shared laugh, a home-cooked meal, a walk in the park. Hank and Mia would walk along the shore, talking about dreams. Not about getting rich, but about finding peace, being together, and getting a second chance. He started helping Lily with her homework, really listening to her stories. For the first time in a long while, he was truly present. At night, Hank would say a quiet prayer, not for money, but for gratitude. He asked for the strength to forgive himself and to be there for the people he loved. In the end, Hank realized he'd always had enough. The real riches were right there all along, in his daughter's laughter, his wife's support, and the peace that comes from just being grateful. And in learning to be grateful, Hank found himself again. His story isn't just about loss. It's about rediscovering what really matters. Sometimes the greatest treasure is learning to love what you already have.